All right. So we start with just a simple thought every week. Today I want to talk about stillness, and so that means Anna will be teaching this week. Silence. But the simple thought is, I can see what my brain is thinking this thought and thinking about this. I can see what my emotions are feeling hurt, angry, happy, hungry. I can see what my body senses are telling me, and my body urges, I'm hungry, I'm tired, etc. What is the part of me that can see those things? That's what mindfulness points to. That's where it wants to take us. That state is called awareness. Many other things also, true self, higher self, the Christ, lots of names for it. But the common thing I have seen is from that state of awareness, I can see what the rest of me is doing. And that's actually a pretty cool thing, I think. And in time, for me, I more and more always have that awareness, at least on the side. It's like, all right, look at the mood I'm in now. Oh yeah, I want to go do that. And it's kind of a funny state because it's almost like we're becoming bipolar on purpose. There's the part of me that sees what I'm doing, and then there's this other me that just seems to want to do stuff or is just doing it. Whoa. And I didn't even decide, I'm just doing that. So anyway, for just a moment, very short 1 minute meditation, what is that part of me that can see what all the other parts of me are doing? What is that in me? Okay. Pretty much all the traditions I've looked at talk about the value of silence and stillness. They're similar, but to me not quite the same. Both of them help us develop this state of awareness of what I am all through and through. Before I go into that, I want to make a note that sometimes developing awareness can be very disturbing to people, to any of us at times. And it's okay to back off. I am not saying at all you should do this or you should do it this way. I just like to share things I have found helpful to my own growth and growth of peace. But one thing I'd like to offer in that sense is we're about 95% unconscious, according to most psychologists and spiritual explorers, meaning most of what comes up in me, instead of responding to a situation or thought or a memory, it comes up as a reaction, an old program, a past pattern, and it's usually based on a survival thing. But the point is, it just comes up. And my point is, it's okay that it's in there. Whatever is there in us from how the past has programmed us, by experience, accident, harm, deprivation, excess, whatever, it's okay, it's in there. And one of the, what we just call the ego, one of the ego's tricks is to shame ourselves and say, oh, you shouldn't feel like that, you shouldn't have those thoughts, you shouldn't be like that. And that takes a power away from us. It's like, yeah, true that, when I look at that, it's really better if I don't express that in public, I might get in jail. But the shaming part of it is from the ego because it doesn't want us to explore the unconscious. It wants to remain in an unconscious control of our life. And I know all those words can be debated, but just a quick summary as a pointer. So, for what it's worth, I forgive you of whatever is in there. It's perfectly fine that it's in there. And if I can give that blessing to myself, I can begin to explore some patterns that may have been causing me problems, maybe a backing off from life, maybe a reaction to life that was not producing good results. But if I can just forgive myself and say, it doesn't matter what's in here. That's how it was programmed in the past. And now with awareness, there's some possibility I can look at it and let it be transformed. The other part of that equation is our awareness has an ability to transform the programs in our brain and emotions and even what's stored in our body. And it's a little insulting to our brain because it does the work without our intellectual knowledge or willpower. And this is where stillness comes in. It's all about, okay, here I am. Yep, I was feeling great, then I thought about that. Oh, I see, I just had that thought, I thought about that. What's that all about? It can be a very gentle and kind self-exploration. And we can just let it open things up at the rate we're able to handle. We're not trying to pry things open. Some psychological methods do. Some spiritual teachers use the hammer or brick method. I don't advocate those myself, but it's your choice, of course. I prefer the gentle approach to bring in Jesus for a moment because I really, really like that guy and his continuing presence as the Christ that I believe in. He never said, why are you doing that? What's wrong with you? The woman caught in adultery. He just pieced out the situation, brought her healing, and set her free. Good old Saul's trucking down the road, going off to persecute some more Christians, and Jesus steps up and says, hey, Saul, what the heck are you up to with all that? Come on, I got a better way you can use that energy. No recrimination, not asking. Just look at his example is what I like to offer. His example of how to go about healing. We can do that for ourselves, that same kindness and gentleness. It's like, okay, look what's here today. All right, how'd it get there? I may or may not need to know that. Meaning, if I really think I need to, awareness will help me explore it. Some things will come up and it's like, oh, that's just junk, I just don't need that. A little help transforming it, please. And that's the basic process of mindfulness at the core. There's like 10,000 practices to get to there, but that's where it always comes back to is, all right, I can see what's coming up right now. Oh, recognize I've done that 1,000 times, but I never saw it before. I never saw that I was doing that. Wow, that's kind of cool. Yuck, that's kind of ugly. Yeah, you get both. So, stillness, silence is there all the time. It's behind my thinking. It's the nature of awareness. It's silent in terms of thought, emotion, and reading the body. When I get still, I can feel my silence. I can also be not still, like me talking right now and having to think a little bit. Also being happy because I'm getting to do mindfulness. I can feel the silence behind it giving rise to these things. But stillness is when I say, well, all right, now I'm going to take a break. And now, like Anna is doing this week of silence, it's a kind of stillness of, I'm going to still my reactive nature for a little while. Just not so much shut it down as just step back out of it. The brain's still going to keep throwing up thoughts. Don't you want to think about, and tomorrow, and yeah. The stillness is not jumping in and engaging it. Or once I do, because I usually can do stillness about almost 10 seconds. And then I find I'm thinking about something again. So it's like this repetitive, if I decide I'm going to sit 20 minutes at midday prayer, okay, I'm going to sit stillness for 20 minutes. That means maybe 500 or 1,000 times I'm going to catch myself thinking and decide to step back to watching instead of thinking. So stillness can be a tricky thing, and some people do not like it or it doesn't work for them. That's fine. I'm not selling a have to or should here, just sharing what many of us and many of the mystics have promoted as a useful tool for personal growth. So, again, forgive ourselves, forgive yourself, forgive the person next to you who has to keep fidgeting and twitching, and because we were born into a society that has taught noise. It's like you can't wait to teach you to talk. And then once you do, there's noise from the TV, there's noise from the parents, there's noise from the teachers, there's noise from the government, there's noise everywhere saying you got to think about this, you got to listen to this, you got to think this way, pay attention. Some days I believe our mind just wants to scream, like, stop it. Stillness and silence practices are a way to give ourselves a break. But be kind, because the brain intellect has been programmed to be noisy on purpose by this society. And if you think about it, like they say, the first 4 years of our life, you can't recall at all because the brain overwrites those memories. But it doesn't overwrite the patterns that were instilled in the brain at that early age. So stillness may begin to reveal just weird feelings, creepy feelings, even, anger feelings for no reason. And I'm just suggesting there's so much in our unconscious, we have no clue it's even there or what it's doing. Forgive it, accept it. Okay, I don't like that feeling. I'm not going to go into it now, but little help. Can that get transformed? Can that get unmade? A little help, please. To me, I find this general process is what has been the most helpful over about 40 years of exploring all this. I don't know how many other paths, techniques, teachers I have read, did practice for a while. And every single one of them added something to my growth. So I'm not even going to try to sort them in my mind or your mind. You know what's best for you. You'll be led to that, I believe. You'll be drawn to it. Use it as you best understand it, because you know you better than anybody else ever will. No matter how intimately we're ever involved in a relationship, I don't know, take a guess, 90% of what's in here, I still don't know, so you certainly don't know it. So be kind, be gentle. And if you are in the mood, you can be a little bit brave. And one day something comes up that you would cringe from, or that would make you want to attack, to defend yourself, and you might say, oh, look at that, I see that now, wow. And right there's a miracle, the seeing. Like, wow, all right, this is going to be ugly, I can tell. Come on, Spirit, I'm feeling brave today. Can we unmake a little bit of this? Can we transform it a little bit? And I have found when we do that step, something cool usually happens. Might take a few months or a couple years, but that's the way of mindfulness. You know, it's taught in some basic forms that the Awakening Society knows, like the Tao Buddhism, Zen Buddhism. I hear it in the teachings of Jesus, where he's just saying, turn to God, give it up to God, and forgive yourself, because I forgive you. I mean, it's a very simplistic thing, mindfulness itself. And then each of us get to take it and use it with whatever else life gives us as a path, a process, a practice, a method. So that's my little summary on mindfulness. And again, I just am coming to realize more and more in my own awakening the value of gentleness and self-forgiveness. I started out with the brick and hammer method from teachers I was following back then. Get in there, that stuff shouldn't be there, you shouldn't be like that, and battled myself with willpower and determination for years. And now I find things that are still there after all those years of battling, when they come up now, and I can be kind and gentle to myself and say, all right, look at this, that's still there. I remember that was there when I was a teenager. Oh, okay. Well, what can we do with that today? See, that's a way that I just offer. But I have found now that moves those things that have sat there for 60 years, where the hammer and brick never touched them. So just an offering of my experience. Your thoughts?
Well, my father has things that I was 15 and I did this, and I was 25 and I did this, and he's stuck. Mm-hmm. He is stuck in those two things or three things, whatever it is that he's not even telling me about, but it's very hard for him to figure out what to do with that, because those are big regrets of his, and it might have changed his whole life if he had done those things. So I like your idea of seeing them as something to move rather than something to bring in and sit and dwell and imagine, and it's just he's animating them in his mind, and that's not how you want to handle that when he's 72 years old.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to see him continue to suffer in it.
Yep. So as you get good at this yourself, you can show him, not tell him. I believe it's magical or mystical or miraculous that as my mind gets clearer in love, like you're loving your dad, you want to see him get better, and you feel in your soul or your heart that clarity of like you could just see this and let it go, that actually communicates somehow. Not in words, just being present, you know? We all know people that's like a go-to. You just want to go sit by them because when you do, you feel a little better. I think that's why. There's something, so observe your love and then ask, yeah, how can I help? How can I?
Because we'll be in the car on a car trip and
Yeah.
he'll just bring them up again.
Yeah.
While he's driving, he's thinking about these things from long ago.
So,
So he trusts me to help him. I think he knows that I can eventually give him something that'll,
yeah,
and maybe that was it. Maybe just look at it as something to put somewhere in a file cabinet, in a drawer. I have rooms of drawers, and I go to the rooms and I unlock it and I go in there and I'll either pull something out or most of the time I'm putting something in and locking it away. Yeah.
okay.
That's how I've dealt with
No,
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
See, we each will grow our own process. And I mean, I've grown and then later discarded so many processes, but
Yeah.
ones like that, just you have to trust yourself, your soul, your
What is
heart.
working? Yeah.
What's working, what's it offering for you to do, and you're the closest to God or Spirit, whatever you call the greater, you're the closest than anybody else for you.
Yeah.
So we may hear something out there that sparks an interest, but I have to bring it into my soul and say, all right, what can I do with this? What do I want? Oh, I'm making filing cabinets now. All right, nice and tidy. So, cool.
I guess one question I have is just my mother is not open at all to anything, but she has things she dwells on still. Any ideas how I can just begin to approach? She does believe in Jesus, she believes in God, so there is that, but anything else is really untouchable with her to discuss anything spiritual or.
I'm going to come at that sideways.
Okay.
Going back to the basic root, I use Zen as my model. The basic is, let me be at peace with what is. That's mom. That's dad. Okay. Let me just be at peace with them. That's the way they are. That's fine. If I can get there, the that's fine part at the end is where it gets tricky.
That is not easy when people
Right.
tell me I have to be 60 before I can forgive them for everything. Yeah.
But if I can get more peaceful with them, okay, that's how mom is. And then see what my stillness gives me to say instead of trying to fix them or heal them or wake them up. Just always in the moment, a moment of stillness. Maybe 1,000 of them in an hour, but just that moment. Okay, there they are, they're going off again. Okay. So you're then sinking deeper into your connection to the divine, to awareness.
Yeah.
And through that connection, maybe a word will come, maybe just a blessing in your heart, but an energy will be given. We don't, in my model, we don't get to figure it out how to help. We just show up and are open to being helpful in the moment. So
Yeah.
that's how I would answer that.
Well, I think you gave me an idea. So,
Okay, something to play with.
in my mom's religion, they have blessings. So maybe I can get her arranged a blessing that may help. So
Cool.
that's an interesting idea.
Other thoughts?
Do you think with emotion, your thoughts of put it over there is another, or do you have some other way that you're dealing with, like anger? Are you trying to ball it in something that you then put to the side, or?
I'm slow to answer that kind of question because each of us get given ways to deal with these things, and sometimes they're very different. And I do have my way, but I'm hesitant because I don't want to say,
I'm just open to ideas.
okay.
Yeah.
I see my emotions more and more clearly these days. Yes, I'm angry. I've been angry at the world since I was in elementary school, and it wasn't until this spring that I began to get a handle on that. I just was angry all the time.
Yeah.
And now I just see that anger. It's still there. It's just, okay. What can I, right now, again, in the present moment, how can I channel that energy to do something useful with it, to change, to affect the world? So many times that's simply ranting on Facebook. I love to rant on Facebook. In the evening, my thoughts on progressive social equality and all of that. But the anger it's just there. It's like a little force field maybe. And I can feel it's there. But I've learned, I will say, I want to be careful because this is where I don't want to be misleading. I step aside so I'm not caught by it. It's not grabbed me and it's not directing me from my subconscious. But I see what it's thinking and feeling and how it wants to respond. Oh yeah, give me an AK-47 today. You know, I was like, whoa, okay. But it's always visible when it comes up now. That's how I deal with it.
So you're seeing it as a thing.
Well, an energy that's in me.
So are you seeing
pattern.
colors or
No,
patterns
it's
or?
everything. My vision is weirdly crystal clear. And I can't explain it, but I can see it.
Yeah.
So, but I recognize it for what it is, and it's that's part of me. And I'm not even sure it's all bad. It's just how do I use that energy creatively rather than destructively.
Right.
And another silly little example, I told the story about rescuing Mr. Ratty from the snake. And I could feel my emotions come up, like I'd kind of gotten attached to that little beast, like a little friend. And it was so sad feeling. It's like, oh, don't be dead, Ratty. I could see it as it come up. I could, and in that sense, feel it. But it also, it didn't pull me in so I became incapacitated by the emotion. Or I did not become violent and have to rip the snake in two. I could just unwrap the snake, and both were good.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by stepping aside from an emotion. Is I'm not denying it, I'm not repressing it, and I don't any longer need to put it in a drawer. There were times for a long time, I had to do that with my anger at the world. It had its own little room. It's like I'd let it out sometimes, and all right, it's enough for that. So again, you got to trust yourself. and your connection to the divine to guide this awakening. That's my thought.
Yeah. I think the best thing I've heard, you gave me some ideas too, is just give it 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Just count 3, 2, 1, and then see what you can do with it.
Cool. That's it. That's stillness.
Yeah.
And that's
But that is
the-
very hard to do.
Yes.
It's so hard to just go, I want to react now and I want to be upset now. But if you can go to that place where you can
Cool.
count,
Beautiful.
yeah.
That's it. I mean, it's the old, what's the word? It's just a saying, count to 10. That
That's harder.
people used to say
That's very hard.
in society. Now they just say, just shoot them or just deport them. They don't count to 10 anymore and don't teach that anymore. But it's the same thing. That idea that, wait, I'm just going to pause, that's stillness.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's hard.
10 is very hard.
Yeah.
3 is difficult,
Well,
but you can, 3 is much more, like you
Cool.
convince yourself easier with 3.
back to the kindness and gentle part, give yourself credit. You've seen that opening
Yeah.
to stillness.
Right.
That's part of you now.
Right.
That will continue to grow, and don't evaluate how good you are at it yet or how bad you are at it still. Just say, oh, I do have awareness. And when you remember, you'll use it and it'll grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it when you guys bring out like that, the count to 3, things that's your own awareness.
It is.
Speaking.
Yeah,
You-
it is. Yeah.
You
You're right.
discovered that, you accepted that. as
When
a-
you named it, I never thought of it as something that was this.
Yeah.
I just thought it was silly for a while, and then I would laugh while I was doing it, but it brought me out of the anger or
Yeah.
the frustration or procrastination too. If
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I should be doing this, if I start counting down, I will start standing up. So it also affects that as well.
Yeah. So that's, I like to say, I'm not sure it's true, but I like to say everybody has awareness, even if they're not aware of it.
Right.
And what we're growing in is awareness of our awareness.
Exactly.
And, people that swear all this is woo-woo stuff and BS, it's like, I was in the shower this morning and just this thought came out of nowhere and I realized that's it.
Yeah.
A moment of stillness. They've just described it.
Right.
But they won't name it and call it awareness. That's that woo-woo woke stuff.
Right. Right.
So the more that anyone can share their examples, I think the more helpful it is for everyone.
As something as silly as 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds silly and it's almost pointless,
Yeah.
but then when it works, you become very aware that you have something that works.
Yes.
And when that works, then you're like, okay, well then maybe I should be doing this more.
Right? Exactly.
You have to convince yourself that you're going to use it.
That's it. So good on you.
It's like a tool.
Yes. Yes, mindfulness is the mechanics, the tools of awakening. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, and we can't sell that to another or even to some parts that are still in ourselves. I frequently use a little example. Just before I came down here, well, actually about 5 years ago now, I got triggered in a relationship. And man, I knew I should look at it with awareness. It took me 2.5 months before I could look at that anger and begin working with it.
Yeah.
It just, something in me just totally would not apply this to that.
Yeah.
And yet, I very vaguely knew, man, you're being stupid here. But, and again, kindness, gentleness.
Yeah, you can't be mean to yourself
No.
like that.
And I promote that more and more now. You know.
Because when you talk badly at yourself, it just fuels it.
Yep.
It just
It
keeps
fuels
making it
the-
worse.
Yep.
And then you feel sick, you feel worse.
You feel guilty.
You're making
ashamed.
other people feel
Yeah,
bad.
right. All of
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So, be kind, be gentle. And so far, Spirit's kept me alive through all those. We're out of jail, so we're good. Waking up is messy. It's personally messy inside. Like, oh, I got my little safe space. I just want to hang out there. And then there's all these drawers rattling around me. And it's also messy outwardly because one day we just say, no, I've had enough of that. I'm not doing that with you anymore. And then they're like, whoa, what's wrong with you? You know, because we're not playing their program with them any longer.
Yeah.
We just realize I don't need that. And we just step out of it. So it's waking up is a very messy thing. Yeah.
Also depends on how much you're dragging behind you, and also how much other people know about what is in the bag behind you that you're carrying too. Because others can make it so much harder for you to deal with it if they keep bringing it up.
Yeah. So all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find that symbols help at all?
Not anymore. I don't, that part of my brain seems to have disappeared. Whatever this visioning I get, it's not even images usually, sometimes. It's just like, I say, an intuitive understanding that just appears, not something I think up. And that will appear in a situation or an experience, like, and I've just come to accept it as a temporary understanding. Like, even that may not be true, but it's offering me a way to understand or symbolize this moment so I can interact with it. You know, it's a very curious thing. I love this mindfulness stuff, and it surprises me with things like that. Oh, what am I even seeing there? But suddenly it's like I know something, which before a symbol would say, interpret this way. Now it's a more dynamic symbolism that just appears in the instant. So that's all I can explain.
Yeah.
Because if I look up, for example, the symbols of dreams, there's approximately 4,982 different interpretations of any symbol I want to give it, depending on which book teacher, because of their experience, the symbol means a different thing.
Yeah.
You know. So if they come to me, I use them, but I don't lock them down.
Yeah.
And for some people, they do get their guidance through that very powerfully. I'm not, putting down using symbols. I'm just explaining.
I used to, but I haven't been.
Okay.
And I'm getting deeper without.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's what you're getting at. Yes, it's okay to proceed with the way you're going. That's what I said earlier. We'll get methods,
Yeah.
and in time,
you'll grow out of them.
You know, the old, if you want to climb a ladder, those rungs are real handy.
Right.
Until you get to here,
Yeah.
you better be willing to let go of this rung
That's
if
right.
you want to go to the next one.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's heartening to hear that your own path and awareness is carrying you. And you're accepting its
Yeah.
its urgings.
I'm not fighting it as much anymore.
Cool.
So there is some growth in that. The forgiveness is still the hardest thing for me.
Okay.
It's not, I don't know, some days I can't even touch it. It's just going over there and I'll deal with it later, but I don't want to deal with it later. I want it gone.
Well, that's a whole topic, but I'll give you the quickie for what it's worth. Forgiveness is always me letting go of my grievance. It's
Yeah.
nothing to do with that person.
Oh, exactly.
And once I can see that, I just ask it, do I want to keep being pissed about this? And some days it's, yeah, I do. And other days, or a day comes and it's like, oh, I'm tired of spending energy on that. A little help, please. And something may release.
Okay.
But again, it's that process, self-regulated. But
Naming it as my grief helps.
yes, is the key.
That does help, because our memory changes, and what I remember happened might not even be what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years from now, looking back, it might be a completely different story in my memory about what happened.
Right.
It's just the way things are. We all don't remember properly. And so why are we trying to hold on to something that we know makes us suffer more?
It's part of a lot of these, quote, problems, these patterns and stuff, are part of our biological construct. A grievance in
Yeah.
that is just, I remember snake bit me last
That's
time.
right, exactly.
So
That's right.
now I form a grievance and I dislike snakes being there and I really dislike that one that bit me.
Right.
See, there's a mechanism in there, so we become aware of it.
Yeah, it's for self-preservation, but
And again, that's where we forgive ourselves. It's okay. Of course I'm going to have grievances. And they're going to have formed in the past. But do I want to keep spending energy on that?
yeah.
You know, being angry at the whole world for being mean and stupid takes up an awful lot of energy.
It really does.
So when I could release that as a grievance, I regained so much strength and power back to myself.
Well, it minimizes it to something smaller.
And what can I do with that energy right now? So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Calling it a grievance just sounds like I wrote a complaint.
We did, but it was done subconsciously.
Yeah.
So that's where the looking with forgiveness is like, all right, I did write a complaint. It may have been biological. I was being harmed. Of course I wrote a complaint. See?
Right.
So, yeah. Just see.
Yeah, I like the minimizing part of it
Yeah.
because then it makes me feel like I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
When it's this big thing that I have to forgive,
Right.
then it's such a monster that you're just so it's almost undoable.
Mm-hmm.
I can't undo it
Yeah.
because it happened, but how do I deal with it?
Yeah.
So making it minimal and making it a grievance, definitely in my mind, I'm willing to accept that is something that's
It'll be interesting.
more willingness to
Yeah.
deal with it.
If you come back around again, I would like you to share in a month or two or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because it's fun seeing stuff's bubbling in you.
Yeah, because there's about 10 things that need to go in that grievance thing and get cleaned up. Yeah.
So, what happens when emotions come up repeatedly. And I know what's causing it now, or I know what I'm reacting to. And I know that that's because there's something down there that caused me that hurt in the past. Because the one in the present is so minuscule, it shouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And just haven't been able to remember or relate to what it is that's causing the problem. You know, where did it originate? And do I need to know that? And I've heard different opinions on whether it's important to know that, or just, release it without knowing. And that hasn't worked. The release without knowing.
I think some of these deep emotional patterns sometimes are just part of who we are as the individual construct. You know, I don't know why I like little ratties in the barn so much. I just love animals. It's just an emotion that comes up in me. It did since I was that big. I always was grabbing up animals, be it a snake, a turtle, a ratty, or whatever. And I've just accepted that's in me. And when I see Ratty getting hurt, I feel bad. And I just, again, as I put it, I just step aside. It's right there. I feel what it feels. I don't have to know why, or I don't even have to try to get rid of it. I'm going to have that emotion the rest of my life. It's okay. Sometimes it hurts because I love those little things, but they all eat each other. That's the way nature works, and it always hurts. Okay. But I learned that hurt feeling is not hurting me. There's a difference. If I say that hurt me, I've made a wound. If I say, oh, I feel hurt, like the Celtic saying, instead of saying I'm sad, they say sadness is upon me.
Yes.
And I'm guessing, Sister Bree, that you're dealing with something like that, a part of you that maybe just doesn't want to take a hit from other people or something. I don't know. But maybe quit trying to say it's a bad thing, like some secret bad thing that needs healed. Instead, just ask, what are you? What do you need? What do you want? How do you want to express? I mean, going at it as a friend rather than a problem.
Okay. Yeah, the way I've been looking at it is the possibility that something happened to me that was hurtful. Many, many years ago, maybe when I was little. And I can look at that as a friend now. But what I'm asking is, do I need to identify that?
I can't answer that for you.
Yeah.
Only you can answer that. You and your
So I have some ideas if you want to talk with me, because my shaman work taught me to look for things in the body that can be released. And so if you want to talk with me about that, you can. But the shaman I traveled with for 10 years said repeatedly, that person's not going to get better because of either their own actions against themselves, because they can't let something go, and they're going to go to their grave with their hatred or anger, frustration, the regret, whatever it is that's eating them alive, literally. Because we saw sickness get released from people. They'd put their cane underneath their arm and walk out the door, and they were like a new person. And then tomorrow they came and they were back to their crippled
Right.
self. So
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes you know what it is, and sometimes it's just in the body, and you don't know it's even there because it's in the subconscious. So that's what I know.
So I want to end it with, I like to give a thought for the week
Yeah.
when I remember. When we go to this pause, the stillness, something you may notice that I've seen develop is when we're still, a thought may arise that I've never thought before. Maybe an understanding and a response to give to Sister Breed or, to anyone. But note that space as a fun thing of exploration this week. That when I pause, my awareness is capable of giving me a new thought. Because the brain is only capable of replaying past thoughts. And to me, it's a sweet spot. I love it. And I count on it. In fact, I count on it to do this group. That it's going to give me thoughts, what to say and how to respond every week, all hour long.
Yeah.
Play with that if you want, but to find out it's not just that once in the shower, once every 3 months that can happen.
Right.
But in that pause, that counting to 3, I can get a new thought or a new understanding that's useful for this moment. Just thought that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we're good on time. So thank you all. And I don't know how much of that was telepathically sent to me from Anna, but I was good with it all. I hope you were.
Well, I like how you didn't say, don't have emotion at all.
No.
Or I don't want emotion at all. You're saying I have emotion and I'm willing to say I have anger. A lot of people won't say that they have anger, especially when they're on a certain level.
Mhm.
They will not admit they have their faults.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to relate to them or even want to listen to them when they're saying I'm better than you and you might not get to this level. Because being of no emotion at all, like some of the Buddhist monks talk about,
Yeah.
that they don't want to have anger, they don't want to have happiness.
Yeah.